I was in Pasadena, California, and I remember I was at a Goodwill, one of the thrift stores we have out there. And I was walking through the Goodwill. I was looking for a piggy bank. I just needed something to put some change into. And even as I recall this, I'm laughing because it's funny. I was looking for a piggy bank, something to put quarters and coins. But then I stopped on one of the shelves in the thrift shop and I saw some instrument. It was like this thin little plastic little instrument. And it looked like it was one of those things made in China. I think I looked on the back, it said made in Taiwan. And it was a flute. I said, oh, what is this little flute? I hadn't seen a flute like that. It wasn't like a recorder. It wasn't a traditional flute. It was like an oriental flute. It said $2.99. I said, okay, that's not that bad. I was looking for a piggy bank, but I'll take this. So I took the little flute up to the counter and I paid the little $3 and I took it outside to my car and I tried to play it in my car and nothing came out. I mean, if you would have seen the look on my face as I blew into this little wooden flute, this it was like I couldn't understand what was happening. I was like, wait, I know it was cheap, but I know it wasn't that cheap. Like, I know it was cheap, but it couldn't be that cheap. Could it be this flute is broken? I thought the flute was broken. And ironically, later on, that would be one of my greatest lessons. It's not the flute. So I went up on YouTube, I researched, and I looked up what kind of flute is this? Oh, this is like a different form of shakuhachi, Japanese bamboo flute, but it's an imitation version. So then I tried to play and I looked up YouTube videos to research how to play and it just wouldn't happen. But I said, I'll be dogged. I'll be doggone if this flute won't play. I'm going to make this happen, right? Luckily, the video gamer in me, the PlayStation and Xbox player in me, I said, challenge accepted. I'm going to figure out how to play this flute. So I went to the library. I remember I knew musicians that were telling me, yeah, it's the aperture, your embouchure, the way that your mouth, the curvature of your lips, you have to play it just right. And finally, it took hours and hours and hours of just rearranging my lips on the tip to finally slip the breath from the top to the bottom to inside to just sliver of air had to just cover this portion of wood that would pierce the flute and graze over the top and allow the sound to drop. It sounds so complicated, but it was actually so simple. So simple. You ever realize how we make simple things very complicated? Humans, we have a tendency to do this. We're not used to simplicity, we're used to complexity. And so we will make the easiest thing the hardest, most challenging thing. But there's just one key element, there's just one little thing that we are missing that we just graze over. After hours and hours of practicing with this wooden flute, I finally got a sound. One note. It took me an entire day of just consistently, persistently working at this flute, working with my mouth. My jaw was aching, my cheeks were aching, everything was aching. And finally I heard one note. I said, oh, I did it! I was so happy. It was a moment of elation. It was my own celebration. I said, Jerome, congratulations, you did it. You didn't give up, you did it. And in that moment, I realized it wasn't the flute. See, I thought the flute was broken because it wasn't playing to my liking. But it was the way that I was trying to make it happen. I was just going about it the wrong way. And then finally, when it played, I practiced every day. Diligently. It became something that captured my soul. It captured my spirit. And I let everyone hear it when I finally drew near it, when I finally cultivated that sound. I would go around and I would just play in town. And people who heard me, it started to change other people. I bought myself a bona fide shakuhachi from the Japanese village in Little Tokyo. And then I upgraded and I bought another one, and it became a spiritual medicine. It became a spiritual instrument for me. It became something more than just a hobby. It was a calling. And the day I knew it was a calling, when I started to hear people say certain things, just from my breath, which the breath is life. So essentially they were listening to my life. And as I was playing, I would hear people saying, "Oh my gosh, that's beautiful." I felt like I heard my dad. I remembered my dad. He passed away a long time ago. You brought back that memory for me. Thank you. I would hear other people say, "Oh my gosh, you just bring me so much peace. Thank you for sharing your peace." I'm breathing. They are saying, "Thank you for sharing your peace." Then I seen people crying, shedding tears. I was playing at events, people sitting down or laying down in yoga nidra, on their yoga mats, and they're just shedding tears. And I'm just playing through this flute, and I'm like, why is this so emotional for others? Because it was so emotional for me. I realized it set me free. So what is something that is a calling in your life? What is something that you would devote, practice, that you would have the willingness to be diligent about something in your life? How would you design it? How would you define it? If you stumbled upon something that changed you forever, that made you feel better, like they say, we may not have it all together, but together we have it all. Because every time I would play this flute, it didn't seem small. So much love to you. Thank you. Blessings, my friend. And I trust that you'll find whatever that is for you.